Okay, hello everybody. I'm Conquering History Games, and welcome back to stream 11 of my, oh crap, I just put my headphones on. I'm so sorry. Were you guys hearing that music? Oh, I had the desktop audio muted. Okay, that's good. I was like, well, demonetized already. But nah, segregation time, you better believe we start demonetized because the Federalist YouTube's always trying to put us down, trying to take away our rights. Getting a beer though. There's the port. Yep, time for a comfy Friday night stream, everybody. We got a nice Senate majority. Wallace is going to go into his second term. We're going to start segregating people. Got myself a nice beer. And my cat Caesar's hanging out at my feet. And I got all you here as well. James, I missed the Breath of the Wild stream, rip. Well, you know, I have a Breath of the Wild freaking stream 11. Oh yeah, and we're going to be reading chapter 2 of that fan fiction. You bet your ass. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to stop everything probably so we can do that. And then in the future, people can timestamp when it ends if they hate it that much. What's going on here? Poggers indeed. So I haven't determined yet when we're going to do that. Ruski says, base wall is keeping me up at 3 a.m. Yeah. But James, yeah, so just anybody who's missed my Breath of the Wild stream, you just, or any live stream I do, I have a live stream playlist, but what I've been trying to do lately, if I'm playing a game that's going to have like multiple parts where I know I can't finish the campaign in a single live stream, I'm going to start making a playlist separate for that. So, for example, the Wallace's America live streams that I do are in my master live stream list, but they also are in a separate Wallace's America playlist, so you can find them easily. FB Archer says, can I do a Goldwater president run next? I do have a save file where he got elected, and so I'm considering. It's going to depend on other things that are going on in the channel schedule, finishing other things. It's going to depend on that a lot. But I might go back and do a live stream where I also do Goldwater. Okay, so let's get started. So we're waiting for Inauguration Day, which doesn't really mean anything. But I'm thinking what we're going to do is we want to go to look at this spare cache I just found, because that's going to improve our modifier that began as American Malaise, went down to American Despair, and we've been pulling our way out of. It's going to we're out now up to Daring to Dream, and we're going to go to full-blown A New Dawn, which sounds awesome, right? So let's start working on education in the schools. Another goal that we're going to try to do is we're going to try to freaking get rid of the national debt. We could do it in the next year. Connor, I just downed a 2-liter Mountain Dew and finished a bag of Cheetos. I can't feel my face. Send help. I'm sorry. Yeah, new term, new priorities. It's segregation time, baby. You know what, actually? Let me, excuse me. I'm just going to do something here real quick. Hold on. I'm going to post a link somewhere. Get some friends, some internet friends to come join us. From the maybe the development team. Okay, where's the thing? Party approved media. Hold on. Oh, dang, I'm trying to post a link and it ain't working. Okay. Man, I'm trying to post a link, but it's not popping up the thumbnail thing. I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, shoot. Okay. I activated slow mode by accident. Sorry, we're just having a little technical issues here. You might be hearing a slight echo. Okay. Very strange. Is it here, maybe? Huh. Okay. Cool. Fuck. I don't know why this isn't working. I'm trying to post in the New Order Discord, but it's like just not working. Yeah, I don't get the little link. I don't know. Whatever. Screw it. Screw it. Let's just play. Yeah, maybe we'll get some people coming in, maybe not, whatever. Let's see. Sounds like Hamilton, the bane of freedom of America. Wait, Hamilton? What did I miss? James says debt is a blessing. It allows people to invest in government. Jonas says, James, get the hell out of here. I've been listening to Sabaton back in control, and I just realized they mentioned Margaret Thatcher. Just a good thing Bird took care of him. Well, that's why the second, the just you wait, then there's the, later on, we've got the, at the end of the first act where it becomes the just you wait. Just you wait. The fanfic's going to happen later. I've not determined when, but all right, let's just jump into it. Funding for school time, baby. Time to educate America. Presidential election season is over. I think we can actually now look at the breakdown of what happened. Yeah, so this was the Electoral College vote. 392 to 146. Spanking dat ass. That's what we call that. Yeah, just basically the RDs are just nestled up here in the northeastern section of the country, with the exception of Idaho, Montana, and Utah. So this is Wallace country now. Okay. Debt is a blessing. It lets you bring out the money printer. That's some 2020 wisdom right there. A meeting on the market. Okay, there's big business will creep. Okay, I believe our meeting is concluded. Thank you for taking special consideration. Yeah, okay, here's what matters. Our GDP growth will decrease a little bit. The National Progressive Party is going to look better in northern states. Yeah. Connor says, do I have to watch the 10 other streams? I'm sure you can figure it out from here. You can go back and watch them if you want. In the boardroom. He's trying to get us to Bend, Alabama, tie ourselves to Jim Crow. Okay, so a lot of businessmen are turning on us, even though we're giving them subsidies. You can't even pay these people. So it's impossible to find good work these days. Arches will be back later. Peace out. You're going to go watch 10 streams in a row. I'm not sure that the double speed on YouTube is going to handle that enough. Yeah, so they're all mad about Jim Crow and yeah. Okay. So, we're going to lower funding for the black schools. The legality is dubious. The Yanks won't let it slide. Oh, the Yanks? You mean people nestled up here? You see this? This is real America out here. Oh, gosh, I'm seriously tempted right now to actually go brush my teeth right now. I had some dinner, including some spinach, and I just don't think I washed it enough, and I can kind of feel the dirt. Salted Awful is here. He wants me to invade Canada. Well, you know what? Speaking of Canada, let's take an intermission and read ourselves some. Let's go on over to our favorite website in the world, hottestheadsofstate.com, and read us a little bit of Justin Trudeau fan fiction. We won't read the whole thing straight. I'm going to read it in sections. We'll do it like 5 minutes at a time, okay? Let me just move the screen over here. Yeah, so... all right. So is this one... I think this one... Let's see here. Oh, this one looks even shorter than Chapter 1. So, for those of you who don't remember Chapter 1, our main character, who I guess we're just calling Kate, she was a hero astronaut who moved to Canada and was elected as a minister to the Parliament, although she does not even seem to entirely be sure where she you know, what she represents or whatever. And so she got trapped in the elevator with a handsome man who she was very tsundere, very soon to. And then it turns out it was the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. She somehow did not know what he looked like. Okay. So, Chapter 2. And somebody, you know what? I'm going to put a timer on it. 5 minutes. No more than 5 minutes. And then we'll keep moving. Okay. Hold on. As soon as the timer's set, I'm not looking at the chat because I got to focus on reading. Alright, set, start, we are go. Chapter 2, in which Justin Trudeau makes an indecent proposal, but not the kind you were hoping for. So far, your second day of work has been better than your first. You haven't gotten trapped in any fallen elevators, and you haven't had any embarrassing encounters with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Maybe being a member of Canadian Parliament won't be so bad after all. That is, as long as you continue to avoid, number 1, elevators, and number 2, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and also, number 3, the ghost that haunts Parliament Hill. But that's a story for another day. Avoiding elevators is pretty easy. The trick you've learned is just not to go inside any elevators. The only downside is that you're stuck using the stairs, which means breaking your New Year's resolution to never use stairs. At least you get to enjoy sliding down the banister, which makes you feel like Mary Poppins. Your outfit also makes you feel like Mary Poppins, because you're dressed like Mary Poppins. It's important to start off a new job on the right foot by dressing like Mary Poppins. Avoiding Justin Trudeau has proven to be more difficult than avoiding elevators. Unlike an elevator, Justin Trudeau is not tethered to a bunch of steel cables, which means he can go wherever he wants. You have no choice but to hide out in your office all day, even though it means skipping a bunch of important-sounding meetings. Part of you wonders if you'll be able to keep avoiding Justin Trudeau for your entire term, and another part of you wonders just how long a term lasts anyway. You make a mental note to look it up. As for now, 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock, which means it's time to go home and watch your favorite CBC show, What Are Americans Saying About Canada? You skip down the hallway to the stairs, congratulating yourself on having made it through your second day of work without having to endure a lecture from Justin Trudeau about election fraud. You can't remember if he was for election fraud or against election fraud, but either way, it was not interesting. You're happily sliding down the banister, gaining speed as you go, when you round a corner and see a dark-suited man coming up the stairs in the opposite direction. You try to stop yourself by tightening your grip on the railing, but you're moving too fast, so instead you're thrown forward, crashing into him. It feels like hitting a big, muscular wall. He cries out in surprise, but manages to catch you without being knocked backwards. With your face smashed against his chest, the first thing you notice is the scent of chai tea and maple syrup. You recognize the smell immediately, and your heart sinks into your stomach. You look up, and yes, of course, it's Justin Trudeau. You scramble to get down from his arms as gracefully as possible, your face flushed with what you assume is anger. "Hey," he says, sounding surprised and annoyed at the same time. I've been looking all over for you. Oh, really? You say, holding onto the handrail to steady yourself. You notice that your palms have started sweating, also presumably from anger. Yes, he says testily. I sent you like half a dozen emails. I must have missed them, you lie, inching backwards. Maybe if you move really slowly, you'll be able to escape down the stairs without him noticing. Well, it doesn't matter now, he says, his expression softening. I've been looking for you because I need to speak with you privately. He glances around the deserted stairwell. Come with me. Before you think of an excuse, he's already striding up the stairs on his annoyingly long and shapely legs. You follow him reluctantly, trying to figure out how you're going to get out of this. He leads you to a cozy, octagon-shaped room that you take to be his office. It has wood-paneled walls, and the windows are covered with wooden shutters, which has surprisingly soothing effect of making you feel like you're inside a giant block of wood. Trudeau sits behind the desk and gestures toward an empty chair, either because he wants you to sit there or because he wants to show you what a nice chair he has. I don't have a lot of time, you say, perching on the edge of what is, in fact, a very nice chair. You glance down at your cell phone as if you're anxiously checking the time. Hopefully he doesn't notice that your cell phone is plastic and filled with candy. This won't take long, he says. I want to offer you a deal. What kind of deal, you ask? You hope it's that deal to trade offices, because his office is a lot nicer than yours. Just look at all this. What? Oh, and that's it. That's the timer. That's it for now. To be continued. Justin Trudeau's wood. Let's keep moving. So we're going to lower the funding for the black schools because so basically the whole Wallace program here is we're going to reform education by cutting it. Salted Awful says hell is empty and all the devils are reading Justin Trudeau fan fiction. Oh man, let's see here. I missed a lot in the chat. Let's see. We've got End It, President Xi, Only You Can Save Us. Your fanfics suck, Canada. Canada deserves a nuclear holocaust. Someone get Hitler now. Anon Emaus, I like what he had to say. He's calling the base department right now. Kill us and end this accursed chat. Oh man. 2021 has surpassed 2020 as the worst year. Alright, so we're not getting the civilian and military austerity thing now. Let's do that. And yeah, we're chipping away at that debt. Chip. We're barely over $6 billion in debt now. Which, by the way, I guess let's bring it up now because some people, hey, I like that. I started reading the fan fiction and the number of people watching went up. But I was going to show you guys because I guess a lot of you didn't know how much the actual U.S. debt is. Okay, let's not do that one. Well, so, okay, I'm not going to show you this one, but if you go on to usdebtclock.org, you see this. Let's just look at the fundamental one. Give me a second. Okay, U.S. debt right now. No, not there. Yeah, so this is pgpf.org. So this is the actual national debt right now. So it's 27,683,338,000. Or excuse me, I screwed that up. The current national debt, and I'll round up by the end because it's actively growing. 27,683,338,150,000, and we just passed that dollars. Yeah, you know inflation, right? I'm pretty sure we're practically the same, yeah. But we're gonna. So we got $6 billion in debt in Wallace's America. Actually, let's look up $6 billion. Okay, what? $6 billion in. It's actually calculated with $1962 in the game. So we're gonna go with that. So let's see here. $6 billion in would be 51, almost 51.5 billion today. Yeah, so we're doing good. You see, now to get this last $6 billion, yeah, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth, Super Gamer Grill. Bring out the printer! And you know what? You know what, guys? I'm feeling frisky. It's Friday night. It's Friday night. I'm going to play this. It's going to demonetize me. But we're going to print this dead away. And I think you know what's coming. Feel free to sing along. So let's kind of play that softly in the background. Dixie Stan! Print the money! The crowd was decidedly larger than at his last inauguration. A lot more supporters cheering from the front, and a lot more detractors protesting at the back. This pleased George Wallace as he swore his oath upon the Holy Bible. He had been worried that he wouldn't get this far, yet America had clearly placed its trust and support in him, and his determination to do what needed to be done. That was all the motivation he needed to steel himself for the coming term. 4 years ago, I came to you as an insurgent. I stood as a lone voice in resistance against those who would seek to erode our great Anglo-Saxon identity. You, the people of our God-blessed United States, stood up and joined me, and together we secured the future of our culture and our liberty against the... Oh, alert! I'll read your super chat in a second. Against those who would risk it all in the name of progress. Now, once again, you have placed your faith in me, and I vow in the name of God Almighty that I shall execute your will. There are still those among us who would choose to squander the many boons they have been given in the name of naive idealism. I hope that after today they will reevaluate their position. You and I have shown them the true will of the people, and our will not be silenced. In the name of freedom, and in the name of the true American way, we will stand firm against that which would seek to divide us. The crowd roared with a caramel dancing. Equal parts cheers from the front and boos from the back. Countless banners waved furiously in the wind, be they stars and stripes, states' flags, or the Confederate battle flag. Wallace grinned with pride as he gazed upon the myriad masses who had come from all over to see him. These were the men who had built America with their own hands, the women who had birthed and raised those men, and the children who would one day inherit the American legacy. With them on his side, the path ahead was clear. It was time to finish the work. Segregation now! Segregation tomorrow! Segregation forever! Okay, so, super chat from Ace. I'm going to call you Ace. Thank you very much. It says, please do LibSoc Siberian Army or Bukharin/LibSoc Sablin Path. They're so based. Well, I've got some terrific news for you, Ace. I actually have already done a Sablin run. LibSoc Sablin. Also known as the chat repeatedly told me, known as Big Chungus 100% Wholesome Keanu Reeves run. So yeah, if you go into my live stream playlist, you will find that. As for the Siberian Black Army, it is kind of interesting, because I would want to see if it's actually impossible to not, split, because that's the left for you, right? So it's something I would certainly consider. But thank you very much for the freaking donation. Greatly appreciated. Why is Free France so small? Well, because France is always the same size relative to Charles de Gaulle's penis. Let's move on. Segregation now, tomorrow, forever, and we are immediately doing it. Here we go. Anonymous put a Y. Second inauguration of U.S. President George Wallace. 4 years ago, it would have seemed unthinkable, but George Washington today triumphantly addressed crowds of cheering segregationists as he secured a second term for his administration. The MPP firebrand has touted his victory as proof that America is truly on his side, proudly declaring that segregation will never end as long as he's in charge. An already divided America looks set to become even more on edge as Wallace presses ahead with his, agenda. Dude, fuck de Gaulle. What's he gonna do from his grave, huh? An already divided America looks set to become even more on edge. A continued clampdown on civil rights legislation and further corporate dealings are all on the table. And while the president's enemies may be exhausted from years of fighting and setbacks, it is certain that they will not go quietly. Salt Awful says, can you overturn the presidential term limit, go for racist FBR? That's a great question, Salted Awful. As far as I'm aware, there's no term limits in this timeline because FDR was never president, and the term limit, like the official term limits, were in response to him. That's pretty much what it was. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's look at how big de Gaulle's penis is when we look at his focus tree. It's it's retracted. Ooh. I guess that's what happens when you're that friggin' old. So, now we're going to enforce the segregated funding. The legality of this arrangement is doubtful. The National Progressive Party's socialist wing will grow. We're already in our second term, baby. You gotta wait till 72. Alright, so the Supreme Court is intervening in Wallace legislation. Now, I've discussed how I feel about the wording of this. They need to actually change this a little bit better. But basically, it's going to sound like the Supreme Court is already overturning me. But no. This event just means that it's about to go to the Supreme Court. But we should win because I've nominated, like, how many judges did I nominate in my first term? Like 3, 4, something like that. So we've got 7 conservatives and 2 liberals. They should come in on my side over this. So anyway. Reporters from across Maryland have described the situation in Washington, D.C. as the capital has become engulfed in turmoil between the Wallace administration and the Supreme Court of the United States. Recently, the Wallace administration forwarded a piece of legislation called the Education Rebudgeting Act, or the ERA for short, towards the Senate in an attempt to rebalance funding towards schools across the United States. However, the Supreme Court has declared the bill to be unconstitutional. That's not true. They're going to consider it. Citing when it says the Supreme Court has declared the bill constitutional, it really should say something like opponents have declared the bill to be unconstitutional, and then they're taking it to the Supreme Court. Where was I? Cited the bill was filled with obvious setbacks against African American schools throughout the country and has been said to be a, quote, deliberate attack on the African American population's rights and freedoms in the United States, as said by one Supreme Court justice. However, despite the protests from the Supreme Court, Wallace's base of support has found no wrong with the administration's piece of legislation. President Wallace himself responded by accusing the Supreme Court of, quote, attacking his rights as leader of the United States in repairing the broken education system of the United States by directing funds towards proven efficient centers of education rather than the unneeded schools that leach from the budget. Supporters of the FRMP have stood behind President Wallace, as many have come to the steps of the Supreme Court with a variety of chants and banners, some demanding that the Supreme Court stop acting so politically and realize that the president is working for, quote, the more patriotic American people. However, the black community has stood in defiance of Wallace's supporters and stood with the Supreme Court. Many have found anger with Wallace and his actions, actively protesting the president and various NPP associations due to their distrust of the party with the president's proposal. As said by one African American man, "This is the United States of America, not Germany and not Japan. We are here to find justice for all. How do we dare accept the actions of such a vile attack against the already small education provided for African American children?" Some larger cities have been even reported work protests and strikes supporting the Supreme Court against the Education Rebudging Act. Yeah, they really got to change that wording. So, we've got Hold on a sec. Somebody just texted me, funnily enough, about streaming. Hold on. Alright, some larger cities, okay, yeah, complain all you want. The Supreme Court will give its judgment. So, okay, so somebody was asking me what the Supreme Court composition is like. Well, they don't have specific names, which is fine. There's no need to get that detailed. Although there is an event, I believe there's an event, when Thurgood Marshall gets put on the court, or like he gets nominated. Oh, it can increase NPP unity. Let's definitely do that. Although I actually didn't really need to. So where's the Supreme Court thing? Yeah. So right now it says we have 7 conservatives, 2 liberals. CHG, you should really do audiobooks. I would pay for that. Oh, I don't know about that. Although I am tomorrow gonna submit some stuff to try to get a voice acting thing. I don't know if it's gonna work. Whatever. It costs nothing to try. That's the way I see it. And it's not gonna be. It's just like a few lines. But I think it would be fun to at least say, if somebody, to at least say, yeah, I'm a voice actor. Yeah, haven't you seen my body of work? I did that Pepto-Bismol commercial. I narrated that. That was me. Something. It's not a Pepto-Bismol commercial. Supreme Court approves the Education Rebudging Act. You're damn right. After days of debate and discussion of constitutional interpretation, journalists report that the ongoing fight between the Supreme Court and the President of the United States have finally come to a conclusion in an overwhelming approval for the Education Rebudgeting Act by the Supreme Court justices. Despite the continuously bloody political punches back and forth from the Supreme Court to the President, the matter has finally been resolved, and Wallace's plan to reorganize the funding of schools across the United States in what some call a direct attack against African American schools. What confuses me is the question as to why this debate had to happen in the first place, the President said with laughter in his victory. After all this time, all this debate, the justices of the Supreme Court have come to the conclusion that, once again, my administration is working towards a better America. An America without a crippling amount of debt incited by useless schools that could be closed down anyway, he said, walking away with some key members of his administration. Many across the South have expressed their happiness with the bill's passing, saying that whether it hurts the blacks or not, we're taken care of, and that's what the President knows matters. God bless that man. However, narration here. However, some have taken a grave amount of solemnity in knowing the president's successes. Many members of the RDs and the central branch of the NPP have stated their overall disgust with the approval of the act, despite the, quote, obvious constitutional issues of targeting a specific race in legislation, unquote, as said by one Chicagoan who came to D.C. to protest. The African American community have expressed their absolute resolution in ensuring that the President does not interfere with their lives longer, and have begun a wide range of protests to the clauses of the Education Rebudgeting Act. Some large cities have even reported riots to prevent the closing of schools whose budgets have been slashed by the act. Rioting to keep the schools open. Just like, keep this damn school open, and then bam, a Molotov cocktail through the principal's office window. Alright. Imagine if Wallace nominated Marshall. Yeah, I don't know what triggers it. Obviously, it must be like a Supreme Court death, but I don't know what triggers the event. So I don't know if it's like specifically timed and it'll pop up no matter who's in charge, and like magically Thurgood Marshall will be conservative. Like, can you nominate him under Yawkey? That would not make sense. Oh boy, here we go, guys. We knew this was coming. The Arkansas governor has resegregated his state. So basically, yeah. Before we can set up universal segregation, the governor of Arkansas has just now resegregated the state, saying that he did it with my permission, but he didn't. He did it on his own. Yeah. Going into bankruptcy, bro, we're paying off the debt. What are you talking about, Josh? A historic handshake. Hold on. We'll see that was in a second. God, I never know what to do with research here. Just something, whatever. Okay. So, this was it. The moment Yakovlev had been waiting for. He had finally gotten to meet with the President of the United States. And they had finally talked about so much more than just trade agreements. There was a lot more to know about America than Yakovlev realized. And of course, he mentioned how things were back home. They were much better since the last time Yakovlev visited America, that was for sure. While his charms may have been useful in the negotiations, now he would need some different charms. The big moment was upon them. The two would appear before the press and show the world the partnership between Russia and America. Wait, who's he coming from? Stepping outside the White House doors and speaking fluent English, Yakovlev turned and said, President George Wallace, it's been an honor to meet you. I am very happy about the partnership between our two nations. Open trade will surely benefit us both. I feel the same, Mr. Yakovlev, said the president. I hope this partnership continues, and I hope I will try everything I can to persuade Congress the benefits of our alliance. I'm glad you chose to be with us to move onwards into the future. Yakovlev held out his hand, smiling at the president and at the cameras. The president shook it as they were blinded by camera lights from the countless reporters and journalists. Smile for the camera. Okay, can somebody explain this to me? Who the hell is this guy? Is he from the West Russian Revolutionary Front? Are we working with them now? Yep. George Wallace confirmed as a communist. We gotta vote for Yaki to keep the gamer movement going. God, I'm back. Skim through the streams. What I missed. Okay. Wallace balances the Supreme Court in the second case for school defunding. Reporters warned the nation not to rest after the exhaustion of the fight for the School Rebudging Act. It has been indicated that in the past few days, a new battle is set to reemerge as the Supreme Court has taken issue with the Wallace administration's continuous steps to produce the effects of the act. This time, however, President Wallace and his administration has coordinated efforts with state and local leadership to produce laws which will lay down the same effects of the act while bypassing the federal government. The president's administration has labeled the opening of another fight from the Supreme Court to be, quote, wrongful and politically charged at best without consideration for the well-being of the nation. As said by an aide of the president and accompanying several within the administration to openly debate the Supreme Court of the United States. Wallace's administration has worked towards discrediting the second battle already, and Wallace's supporters across the country have supported these notions. These justices think that just because they disagree with the beliefs of the president and the NPP that they can manhandle the law to make it fit their view. That's dictatorship. We support Wallace's success, one member of the FRNPP declared on the steps of the Supreme Court. However, the Supreme Court has found support from a variety of groups within the United States social spheres. Many within the RD Party have accused the president of, quote, attempting to undo the political processes of the United States government by appealing directly to the states despite the ongoing contestment within the Congress, as said by a Republican Democratic senator who wished to remain anonymous. Well, there's only like 20 of them. We can narrow it down. Furthermore, the African American community has felt outrage once more, as seeing President Wallace's second attempt has given rise to a wealth of protests from American cityscapes to the countryside. I am well within power. The Supreme Court will give its judgment. And then the Republican Democrats are like, he owns the courts! He's too dangerous to be kept alive! And then you know, the Anakin is the Supreme Court justices, or no, who would he be? I don't know, like Curtis LeMay, I guess, because he's our VP, and just segregation, unlimited segregation. Okay. Black students defy governor. Okay, so basically, Little Rock Central High, which was where the Brown versus Board thing afterwards happened. So basically, the black kids are trying to still go to the schools, and I'm saying get the governor on the phone. The Supreme Court approves Wallace local legislation. My God, it's almost as though I'm enacting the will of the people. Excuse me. Once more, breaking news report over the second battle between the Wallace administration and the Supreme Court has come to a head tonight, and the Supreme Court has officially issued their response. I'm going to Fat God 100. In accordance with the constitutional powers invested within the President, George C. Wallace's aim to coordinate a reorganization of a selected number of urban schools has been reviewed and approved by the Supreme Court in accordance with the supreme law of the United States. Thus, the Wallace administration has been approved within the federal courts to do as it pleases in their newly structured plan. Across the United States, political proponents loyal to President Wallace have rejoiced in the court's decision, with one NPP governor stating that, quote, the necessary battle between the Supreme Court and the President of the United States has made one thing clear. The President has secured his powers and the American people are free by Wallace's actions. Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty, the white people are free at last. Anyway, end of interview. In the interview. Anakin's Yaki. There you go. There you go, Fat God 100. Anyway. There have been a large number of rallies dedicated to the far-right NPP and Wallace's own image, as a stream of Democrats have taken side with the more radical former opposition. Where Wallace has succeeded, however, many claim to have experienced a desperate loss. A second time a battle has been waged with Wallace, and in this recurring battle we've lost. A disgruntled protester of the central branch of the NPP declares to the crowd around her. Oh, that was a girl. Whoops. Around the streets, reporters have claimed to have seen a tense silence among the African-American communities. We're exhausted. We're tired. But more importantly, we're pissed off. And you'll see what's to come now that you've taken your frustrations out on children in the United States. Another victory in the books. So, one angry man. Okay, we definitely want to make a save file here. Okay, hold on. Wallace 1969. Angry Arkansas choice. All right. So, we're going to federalize the Guard but leave the airborne? I don't know. It seems like... Yeah, wait, no, yeah. Because this is the one where things calm down. Yeah. With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups will prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers. That's what these libs tried to do. They tried to come for the gamers. The gamers! Anyway, we're going to federalize the Guard but leave the airborne. Yeah, because I think that was the one that gets it. But the gamers have risen up, and now... we have no less than 64 gamer senators. Our voice will be heard now. Beach Boys found murdered. Oh no! Police have been called. The Beach Boy members Brian Wilson, his brother Dennis, and cousin Mike Love were at record producer Terry Melcher's house on March 8th to celebrate the release of their latest album. Also in attendance were Brian's pregnant wife Marilyn, singer Mark Lindsay of the Raiders, and Melcher's mother, movie star Doris Day. During the night of March 8th to the 9th, an unidentified group of people entered the property on foot after cutting the phone lines. Doris Day was leaving. She was shot 4 times in the abdomen. The group then gained access to the front door through an open window and brought all the house's inhabitants to the living room. Brian Wilson and Melcher were stabbed multiple times to death, while Marilyn and Lindsay were found shot dead on the back porch, likely attempting to flee. Dennis Wilson's body was far more heinously killed compared to the others. He was shot in both his knees, his abdomen was stabbed over 4 dozen times, and his face was severely disfigured by blunt trauma. The words thief and pig were written on the living room walls. The only survivor of the event was Mike Love, who endured half a dozen knife wounds and being shot in the shoulder before passing out from blood loss. He's currently comatose and in intensive care in Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, Beverly Hills. And investigators hope he will wake soon and help identify the killers. What kind of monster would do such a thing? Okay, well that was pretty dark, so we're going to take another intermission! And for 5 minutes, enjoy Chapter 2 of the Justin Trudeau fanfic. Let me get a sip. 5 minutes starts now. Okay. Here we go. So Justin Trudeau speaking. Because we were in the middle of the chapter from earlier. As I'm sure you already know from attending today's sitting, he says, giving you a sardonic look, I just called for a snap election. Yes, I know all about that. You lie. You stroke your chin thoughtfully, as if you were reflecting back on your memories of the proceedings. Just, yes. Then I'm sure you also know that the vote is going to be 6 weeks from today, and if my party is going to perform well, I need to do something to boost my popularity. But didn't we just have an election? You ask casually, as if you weren't profoundly confused by the parliamentary system of government. Yeah, he shrugs. But I want to set the record. I want to set the record for the shortest ever session of Parliament, lasting only 1 day. Wow, you say to be polite. You can be very polite when you want to be. It was a risky move, he adds. I could be voted out of power. Believe it or not, some voters don't appreciate my ability to set world records. Where do I come into all of this, you ask? Oh, we got a donation from Salted Awful, who says there is no God and he hates us. Thank you for the donation and your message. He's not listening. All right. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you ask absent-mindedly, dispensing candy out of your cell phone. You know, I'm really picturing this scene. This is actually half bad. Well, my chief of staff had a kind of crazy idea. He pauses for a beat. He thinks the fastest way to increase my already daunting popularity would be for me to get a girlfriend. You start choking on a piece of candy, and Trudeau leaps across his desk and thumps you on the back a few times to dislodge it. Are you asking me out? You finally manage. His hand is still resting on your back, and you're having trouble thinking straight. No, definitely not, he says emphatically. A little more emphatically than you think was necessary, to be honest. He pulls his hand away and leans against the desk, looking just like a model in a high-end desk catalog. The thing is, he continues, I'm an extremely busy and important guy. I'm the prime minister of a semi-major country, after all. I don't have time for a girlfriend, especially during an election. And girlfriends are unpredictable. A messy breakup at the wrong time could sink my poll numbers. What I need, he says, his eyes finally meeting yours, is a pretend girlfriend. You don't know what to say, so at first you don't say anything. Part of you feels disappointed, while another part of you feels angry at yourself for being disappointed. He's so smug and arrogant. What do you even see in this guy? Oh, that's right. He's really handsome. You forgot about that for a second. Look, I don't like this any more than you do, he says, breaking the silence. But my aides have convinced me that this is the only way, since the public is no longer charmed by boyish good looks or my wacky socks. You glance down at his socks, which have tiny Justin Trudeau's printed on them. It would be just a few fake dates and the occasional state function, he presses. 2 or 3 hours a week, tops. Why are you asking me? You say finally. You've been nothing but a jerk to me ever since we met. Well, except for that one time you saved me from choking on a piece of candy. You're the MP with at most at risk of losing your seat in this election, he says matter-of-factly. You don't have a lot of name recognition, and you only won a seat in the first place by committing election fraud. But if you were dating the Prime Minister, he smiles confidently, this wouldn't just help my popularity. It would help yours too. But the whole thing is only going to work if I can keep it a secret. That's why I have to choose someone who has as much to lose as I do. If I lose the election, I'll be out of a job, you say, half to yourself. I'd have to move back to America. You really don't want to move back to America. Though on the plus side, at least you wouldn't have to recycle anymore. I'm doing you a huge favor here, he says impatiently. You realize that women would be lining up to pretend date me if they could. Like if I put up a sign telling them where to line up. He looks thoughtfully, as if he's considering this. Fine, you say. I'll do it if we can trade offices. No. Oh. Well, I'll still do it. I knew you'd say yes, he says, looking smug. I'll pick you up tomorrow at 8. Please don't dress like Mary Poppins. And scene. End of chapter 2. Oh my god, Dead Dynamite, are you not paying attention? This is an alternate universe. They even talked about that towards the end of chapter 1. Because when she goes, doesn't Justin Trudeau have a wife? And then they go, no, you must be thinking of some weird alternate universe where he does have a wife. It's like Kaiserreich and Führerreich and Caesarreich and the Winston Churchill fantasy book that he writes. Come on, Double Blind's history, people. Okay. Mary Poppins, y'all. That's what she should have ended the conversation on. Don't dress like you're Mary Poppins. I am Mary Poppins, y'all. Okay, back to the game. See, that got us over that dark moment. Red Flood. Thank you, Kyo Disaster. Somebody is okay. Wait, I just looked at the chat and I just see it all caps. Tabby, get the gas now. Okay, so now, okay, as we all know, my voter base is extremely in favor of states' rights. So because I want to appease them, what we're going to say is that states can pay for the schools in full. Our previous funding reforms have already helped a lot. They're merely the first step to true education reform. As with the wages of teachers, so too should as much of the funding as possibly administered on that state level. Not only will this help our agency of promoting every state as a unique and independent institution, it will also relieve a lot of burden from the federal budget. So, they're so states' rights, they're going to love it. They're absolutely going to love it. Anyway, I don't see any problems that they'll have with this. Goodness gracious, a lot happened. Okay, I'm just trying to go back to the chat here. I'm seeing, no! CHG nuts for those wacky socks. Hey, socks are great. I don't know how old you kids in the chat are, but when you get older, you're going to start loving it. You're going to wish you get socks for Christmas. Salted Awful got a nosebleed. Darkseid wishes she died on the piece of candy. In before Trudeau wrote this. Election fraud in my Canada? No, I'm not taking off my Trudeau socks during sex. I will say this. That was funny when she's like, thought she was so smart. Like, okay, I'll do it. And friggin'... switch offices, just, no. That was funny. Okay. Alright. Where was I? Are you alright, Corgi? Standoff at Central High. Please don't do anything stupid. Okay, hold on a sec. I want to save this, because I'm pretty sure there's a bug here. Hold on. Wallace, 1969, Central High... bug, maybe. Okay, yeah, so basically things are tense. The National Guard's out there. The white students are being let through. The black students are not being let through. Please don't do anything stupid. So they should stand down. Okay, it worked. Central High protesters get $50. What do you mean, Super Gamer Girl? It's like, Concrete History Games, I'm sorry, I only have $50 to give you for reading this. Okay, so Central High protesters are standing down. Time has passed and the tense standoff outside Little Rock Central High has passed. I got a funny story about filth, Connor. A few protesters continue to stand around waving placards near the school, but there are no longer any hordes of angry demonstrators actively attempting to force entry. With the situation de-escalated, the National Guard have been called off, their responsibilities delegated to the local police force. Governor Faubus has hailed the resolve of the Guardsmen in dealing with troublemakers and promised that Central High would soon return to business as usual with an outstanding place of learning for white children. While President Wallace has sent more than a few angry missives his way for escalating the situation in the first place, he has conceded that the governor has handled things better than expected. A sense of unease remains across the state as well as America at large. However, Arkansas has proved that segregation can be restored without bloodshed. A wondrous thought for its supporters and a nightmare for its detractors. And the next few months are likely to see further flare-ups like the one in Little Rock. That could have been a lot worse. Okay, nice. Yeah. Who you calling a slave? Okay, so the filth thing, that was really funny, Connor Holt, because as many of you know, Slaughterhouse 5 book, as many of you know, I'm a fan of Ruby. And so I've seen some of Ruby Chibi. And there's an early on one. Okay, basically there's these 4 girls who are living together. And then one of them, she's just going, hey, says to one of the other one, I think it was Blake. Yeah, she goes, hey, Yang, have you seen my book that I was reading yesterday? Oh, I think Ruby borrowed it. And then and then it turned out it was like some sort of fan fiction sex book or whatever. And then she goes, "Oh no!" And then the girl who borrowed it, Ruby, comes in and she's just got the book, and he looks at her and goes, "This is filth, filth." So I saw the novel. You calling me a weeb? I guess. Did you just discover this, Salted Awful? I guess you've never seen any of my Moe Reich campaigns. Okay, Dark Knight 1000 says, by the way, Conquering History Games, there is a Kaiserreich dating sim. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something. Give me a second. So you're telling me there's a Kaiserreich dating simulator, you say. How interesting. How interesting indeed. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a certain link in the chat. And then I'm going to show you guys that I've done 4 live streams of playing it. They gave me the early access version. So there we go. Yeah, I'm pretty aware of it. Oh, Cargerhole, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you underestimate my power! So, this is just that Legend of Galactic Heroes thing all over again. Let's just get this fucking construction going so I quit getting asked about research. You're blushing now, Darkside100? Am I turning you from soon to dede? That's not my intention. But as anybody who saw my community tab net yesterday's scene, I am trying to adjust to all the new simps that are in my community. I'm taking it as a compliment, but it is an adjustment. Okay, so lower subsidies to the states. Since a more localized administration is clearly far more efficient, there is no need to keep pouring as much federal money into schools as before. If a state feels the need to put in more money, they can get it out of their own funds. Another unnecessary money sink down, and nothing of value is lost. Wallace's voter base will start having second thoughts about states' rights. Yeah, they're going, whoa, 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 whoa. That means we have to pay for our own stuff? Simp time all the time? Super Gamer Girl. When is my OnlyFans coming? You know, that's funny that you say that, because I remember I was once talking to a friend of mine who lives out of town about when I hit a certain subscriber goal. He says, well, I'm glad your OnlyFans is doing so well. Okay. So, we're gonna now let's actually take a look here at the hold on a sec. Here's the thing. We can actually look at how's this going. The Educational Financial Reorganization Act. So this is the bill that we're currently trying to pass. Across the country, too many schools keep being built, causing the hardworking patriots of this country to have to fork over more money for a school they may never even see in their lifetime. The Education Financial Reorganization Act will fix this by dissolving the federal government's responsibility of paying for such schools and instead handing it off to the states. No more are we going to be the ones to spend their money. Rather, citizens will have those rights in their own state governments. 2 of the 21 Republicans are in here. You want to hear my Nixon voice, Darkseid? Okay, I'll do the Nixon voice for this. So he's reading the paper. 2 of the 21 Republican senators support our bill. There seems to be no room for further compromise. Oh, shoot, you're right. My face cam's in the way. My bad. Thank you for reminding. Actually, you know what? Let me kind of put it here. Yeah. So, next to my cognac, because that way we're not covering the calendar either. But, yes. Thank you. Anyway. Yeah, Nixon ASMR. 8 of the 9 Democratic senators support our bill. There seems to be no room for further compromise. None of our party's senators support our bill? Oh, there seems to be no room for further compromise. Urgh. All 64 of our party's far-right senators support our bill. So that's obviously more than enough to pass the bill. I don't give a shit if no one else is compromising. But right now our voter base, though, is very happy with the state of segregation as well as state rights. And the National Progressive Party has become a populist party, gathering some popular support and slightly unifying our party, but it's alienating big business interests on the West Coast. I literally did one freaking thing that was anti-big business, and I did like 4 that were pro-big business. This is completely freaking ridiculous. I'm talking about and yeah, some of you lib hippies are gonna go, well, big business is just gonna primary you if you do anything to stop it. Just shut the fuck up. I'm talking about gameplay mechanics here. And you know what else I'm talking about? I'm talking about how... I'm gonna go get another beer. I'll be right back. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, someone's breaking in! Alright, I'm back. I told you I'd be back, and soon you see. Alright. Waifu Nixon. They put the little guy's CHG. I don't get it. Oh, am I missing something? CHG is actually a 2D HoloLive idol. Does HoloLive have any men? I don't. I'm. You know, here's the thing. Even though I sometimes reference HoloLive a fair amount, I've only ever seen one stream of theirs. I saw Calliope's premiere one, and I didn't watch it live. I watched it later because I just don't have that kind of time, unfortunately. But they're funny. They're a funny group. Sometimes laughing at them, sometimes with them, but they're funny. Let's see here. Okay. And, you know, all jokes aside, they must be very busy as well as talented. Like, aren't they all at least bilingual? I think friggin', what's her name? The Phoenix, the cult, the bird cult. Doesn't she know, like, 4 languages? Good for her. Okay, it's May. Alright, the Unification Wars have now started on both fronts. Pretty obvious, I think, who's going to win. So, basically, earlier, I didn't talk about it, but, the Far Eastern Republic... the Far Eastern, Republic, not a republic, Far Eastern Imperial Realm declared war on all of the Serbians here, so they're currently at war simultaneously with the Serbian Workers' Federation, the Free Workers' Republic of Serbia, the Reformed Serbian Socialist Workers' Republic, and the Serbian Workers' and Peasants' Union. And then the Western Russian Revolutionary Front is now picking up the mess that was left behind at Omsk, so they're at war with, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different countries, technically. Batov's about to get got. And then we have Zhukov versus Mikhail II. Quite a fight. Serbia. Now, Serbia is over here. I mean, no, this is Siberia. Over here, we've got the Socialist Republic of Siberia, currently under Alexander Rankovic. All right. No, I think it's the same Omsk. It's just geographically split because of the reconstruction committee. Okay. Where was I? I'll just do this or something. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna lower the subsidies to the states. And I got my hot bullet here. I usually don't drink IPAs in the summer, but I live in the desert, and it was a very warm winter. Broken Arrow, the sum of all fears. Oh boy, here we go. Approximately 40 minutes ago, a B-52 Stratofortress on a... Okay, basically, plane went down, and it was holding a nuclear weapon. This incident is classified as Broken Arrow. There is a loose nuclear bomb out there. I actually have read this book, by the way, The Sum of All Fears. Given known weather conditions and established U.S. Air Force safety protocols, we believe the crew was most likely alive and floating approximately 115 miles to the southwest of Jan Mayen Island. The wreckage of their craft and potentially the accompanying weapon would most likely still be visible from the air. There are no indications that the German military is presently aware of the situation, but given known German radar capability, it is overwhelmingly likely that this will not be the case within 24 hours' time. We recommend that relevant Navy and Air Force elements be immediately tasked to rescue and retrieval operations. So ordered. Well, let me tell you why I'm not. Connor's heading out. All right, you have a good night, man. We no longer are doing the austerity. Let's do that and that. We've got... Guys, we're almost able to pay off the debt. We're so close. I think we can do it in June. Okay, we got the broken arrow stuff. Hold on. What's the ABV on the spear again? Oh, yeah, I'm going to get sleepy, I think. It's been a long day because I slept horribly last night. And I managed to sleep for like an hour eventually during the day, but it was rough. Okay, broken arrow events. Let's make sure the nuclear... If the nuclear war happens, we'll load up the save. Okay. So, basically, the Germans have detected the B-52 site, and they're going to try to go there. We're going to tell them to back the fuck off. Diplomatic crisis is escalating. Yeah. No debt, no compromise. You know what? Hey, we've already got a donation today. So, screw this being monetized. Let's party, guys. Subsidies. There we go. Great show. Great show. Yeah, this wasn't a demonetized stream before. After playing that, it definitely is. Just because the states have been given more freedom in how they use their funds doesn't mean we can't budge the system in our favor a little. Give more money to states that properly distribute their funding. By denying that funding to black schools, for example, we can encourage some states to modify their policies so they can get a bigger share of the pie when it comes to the precious and quite scarce subsidies and reward those which are more important to the president. Certainly that would be dubious from both a legal and ethical standpoint, but the political benefits far outweigh the risks. This will advance segregation. The legality of this action is dubious at best, and it could serve as prime opportunity for impeachment. Wallace's voter base will start to be more content with the state of segregation. This will alienate the CNPP. Oh, and there's 6 senators. I'm shivering. And what else is it going to do? Yeah, so that's it. Whatever. Segregate it. Segregate. If it says segregate, we do it. Segregation forever. Yeah, segregate, bro. Like Wallace is gonna pick up the red phone line that's in the White House and says, "Get me Borman right now," and then just gonna go, Borman, I'm trying to segregate your mama's dick from your mama's mouth from my dick. Can you help me with that? And then just hang up. Anyway, an invitation from Germania. What is this? The Fuhrer Martin Bormann has sent a formal invitation to our nation. He has invited us to participate as an observer in the North Sea Oil Conference, which will be designed to settle disputes regarding the German proclamation of North Sea oil rights. Why the Germans would listen to the protestations of England is beyond us. Nevertheless, we shall send representatives of the American government to watch over proceedings and ensure that our English allies are treated fairly. Let's hope this conference heralds good news. Yeah, dude. Freaking anonymous. Jeez. Salt treaties. That's a good one. Said by Wallace. Notice me. Yeah, just please notice me, Wallace. Okay. Norway, Denmark, England, and Scotland have all accepted Germany's invitation to the upcoming North Sea Oil Conference, where the nautical borders will be settled and the status of the North Shelf settled once and for all. The conference awaits. You kick his sister in the jaw. Is that the answer, Connor Holt? Let's see. A meeting in Bremen. Oh, yeah, that translator's going to get shot for translating that, what Wallace said. Yeah, Scotland's dead. Well, obviously it was like a pre-thing to Vander. Well, yes, the United Kingdom, like, isn't the concept, like, you know, we're still independent countries, but, you know, it's, The delegates from Norway, Denmark, England, and Scotland have all met up in the German city of Bremen, where they await the invitation of the North Sea Oil Conference. They have been provided with excellent accommodations and service on behalf of the German government. Some see this as a simple gesture of goodwill. Others see it as a cynical negotiation tactic. The United States delegates have also arrived, spending much time deliberating with their English allies and acting just as suspicious about the luxurious treatment. Who knew the right could solve issues with diplomacy? Yeah, they're lucky Wallace didn't go to the conference, because he would just go, "Hey, Borman, unless you want me to put on primetime CBS, me segregating your mama's ass cheeks, we are going to personally own the North Sea oil rights, okay?" All right, Germany's offer. The delegates have gathered around a large... I forgot to do my Alabama accent for that joke. Shit. The delegates have gathered around a large circular table in a spacious meeting room. A rather unnecessarily large map of the North Sea is on display at the front of the room, framed by 2 German flags. In front of every delegate sits a glass of water, a pile of notes, a name card, and a small flag denoting their nation. The German delegates at the conference have presented their deals to the conference attendees. They will hold onto their claims over the North Sea oil rights, and anyone who disagrees will face vague consequences. Yeah, yep, you're right. Oh, this is absolutely a demonetized stream, Connor Holt. I've played that not because of the segregation, but because of the copyrighted music, man. Anyway, they will hold on to the claims, consequences. If the foreign delegates yield, however, they must sign a scrap of paper signaling their nation's absolute acceptance. These terms are outrageous. Well, we're just overseeing it really there. Dang, that's a good point, Wallace. Because yeah, Wallace. It was under Wallace that we finished up the South African War, right? That's how much Wallace is bringing it to these Nazis. He supported black state, African independent states over him. The nations accept. After much debate inside the conference hall and excuse me, wrong pipe, and private discussion outside it, the delegates of Norway, Denmark, England, and Scotland have all agreed to Germany's wild demands in the name of peace. The Reich's claim over the North Sea oil will remain undisputed. And each country present will officially recognize the legality of such claims. The American delegates had a firm say in directing England towards its final decision, claiming that any resistance to Germany's ultimatum could trigger a nuclear war between the OFN and the Unity Pact. The delegates have now returned to their countries of origin to face the judgment of their leaders with their tails tucked between their legs. The oil shall flow. You fucking punks. Caesar, what do you think? Just trying to relax. Well, I didn't have a choice in the matter, Josh. I was just there at the conference. Like, we had people at the conference, but they're the ones who made the decision. The South African War was so Wallace could secure the N-word pass. Let's see here. The Yemen Civil War is starting. Civil War erupts in Yemen. I guess posting in the New Order Discord helped. We got a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people. Like or I should say, we have more people than usual. A few more than usual, which is nice. So good to have you. I don't know who here is like a first time attendee or something. But welcome. So yeah, the WRRF has won. Hold on. Okay, so the segregate state subsidies is done. The presidency of George C. Wallace has seen a complete transformation of the education system and its source of funding, with the Wallace administration's self-created Education Financial Reorganization Act having nearly completely severed ties of schools and any form of federal funding. However, the small gap of federal funding has been noticed, and now with further history of the American education system being made today, the Southern Education Promise Act, also called SEPA, will direct the little remaining funding towards Southern schools, where the Wallace administration has stated it needs the most help. Others, however, remain skeptical. On one hand, we have the Southern schools and state leaders who, from the swamps of Louisiana to the beaches of Florida, have remained in celebration over the new bout of federal aid. President George C. Wallace has called upon the powers of the American government to bless the South once more, said the governor of Georgia today. Whereas many presidents would overlook the needs of the cultural masterpiece that is the South, General Wallace has come to our aid once again. The president and the administration remains in celebration, and whispers of a meeting between the president and several Southern governors are circulating. Oh, it's good, Charlemagne. Thank you for asking. However, while some have come to celebrate, others have found that SEPA reeks of suspicion in their minds. One hardline leader of the Republicans, Colonel John Glenn, spoke at a press conference just a few hours ago saying that the Southern Education Promise Act is a clear indication of President George Wallace's intentions on supporting segregationist policies, whether it's written in law or not. These states are handpicked for additional funding as they refuse African Americans from their door. And that's just gross. It's wrong. It's un-American. And most importantly, it's just a sad display in the modern day. Another day, another victory for Wallace. So let's actually read what this is, though. So, oh shoot, it's gone. But yeah, we had all the far right. Like, we have our, it's practically a supermajority. Like, we only need 3 votes for a supermajority at any given time, and the Democrats are basically just working with us now. So, in reality, we've got about 70-something votes, give or take a couple. Yeah, all right, it's June 30th. You know what, we're going to erase the debt on the 4th of July, Jonas, so that we could, celebrate our independence from the red number. The last voyage of the SS United States. There's a passenger liner. Despite the subsidies provided to the American government, the United States hasn't turned a profit in years. What? The end of an era. Oh, you mean the SS United States. Okay. Okay. So, look at this spare cash I just found. One benefit from the Wallace administration's surgical focus on state-driven education is that the exercise has rationalized a great deal of the education budget. Perhaps not to the extent Wallace's most ardent states' rights supporters has crowed of, but enough to meaningfully impact America's fiscal metrics. Never hurts to have more cash, after all. Yeah, man, Anonymous, you speak in cliches, but I like your funny words, Magic Man. So, we're going to pour more dollars into the economy until it bursts, and, big business loves this. Big business likes this. We will get the National Spirit Subsidy Spree, which grants plus 5% stability. We're at 90%, by the way. How about that? We're going to replace Daring to Dream with A New Dawn, which we will read when the time comes. So, let's get to... My goodness, look at all this political power we have. The voter base right now is extremely happy with the state of segregation. Oh, they ain't seen nothing yet. Alright. Let's get to the 4th. Oh, hey, Cornel Gaming. Are you, is this your first time watching my channel or something? Okay, so there's the raid of Stonewall. The Beach Boys associate Charles Manson is being charged with the murders. Thank God they caught him. This is, Hearts of Iron 4. Cornel Gaming. Nice to meet you. Hold on a sec. So there was a riot in New York City with the Stonewall stuff. I read this in my USA pre-recorded campaign. Alright. Okay. So we're going to get to July 4th. Insurrection in Oman. Yeah, whatever. Kick lines and tear gas. This is just more stuff going on in Stonewall. An incredible sight. Alright, here we go. It is July 4th now. This is it. Get ready for a gamer moment, everybody. We can't actually... So we need $6.04 billion in liquid reserves in order to pay off the national debt. Do we have it? Yes, we do. $9.01 billion. We are going to pay off the debt It's over. It's done. It does not exist, and we still have almost $3 billion in liquid reserves. Wallace has eliminated the debt. Yeah, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Indeed. That's what we call a gamer moment! And of course, it was all paid off with the super chats. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, we're segregating this nation from red numbers. It's green line number. It's green numbers now. Oh yeah, we have the rest. Yeah, sure, let's invest it. Increase that GDP, baby. Yep, popped it right back in. Thank you very much, Darkside 1000. You're great tonight. A lot of you guys are great tonight. And we're on our way to the new dawn in less than 20 days. Okay, so some of you wanted me to check in on Russia. Well, the far eastern imperial realm is really knocking the Serbians around pretty bad. And the West Russian Revolutionary Front is pretty much done with all of the West. They're going to appeal to us for recognition right now. Of mankind, we may say they are fickle. So basically, I'm not going to read all this, but essentially, the governor of Wisconsin is thanking me and saying like just how awesome I am. So northern governor. With the declaration of to this we issue our tremendous thanks to President George Wallace and his administration. With the declaration of his name, Wallace rocketed from his chair and cheered on, erupting the room with loud cackling and joyous yells. LeMay and Mills each took turns confusingly looking at the president before turning back to look at each other. Finally, Mills said, "Excuse me, but I don't understand, sir. What excites you so much about the governor's statement?" "Secretary Wilbur, I've left one crucial detail out of all this. That man and I tore at each other's throats for him not receiving state subsidizing due to his lack of segregation. But now he praises me, and Michigan will too." Dodged another bullet. Oh, we can choose Zukov to piss off Goldwater. Well, if there's one thing we like doing in this campaign, it's pissing off Goldwater. Somebody says, do I have the House? What do you mean? They don't have the House in here. Oh, the House with this dinky little every 2-year re-election. No. We have the Senate, baby. 64. So yeah, basically because we did the thing. I hope I'm understanding this correctly. Because we tied to our Education Reform Act, we're saying, okay, nobody's getting any more federal funding. Except sometimes people will get a little bit of federal funding. If you do not segregate, you're not getting money. Like, we don't say that officially, but it's understood. So Wisconsin folded. By the way, they have 2 far-right senators, though. Yeah, the House, you'd have to simulate. Yeah, that's hundreds of seats they'd have to simulate. It's quite a lot, and I just don't think it would really be worth it. Since it's the Senate that actually does the real legislative shit in the United States anyway. So, freaking... What was I saying? Yeah, so Wisconsin has folded and embraced segregation. We're on the road to it. Let's see. Cornell Gang, you sound a lot like my AP US history teacher, Grace. Oh, well, I'll take that quite as a compliment. Man, I actually hope to be teaching later this year. I've been applying to some teaching jobs, but I don't know. Seniority's a bitch. Exactly. You love how some liberal states like Oregon, Washington, and Minnesota have Wallace senators. Well, first off, you have to remember that this is a different time period, and also it's an alternate history time period, and also I'm friggin' amazing at this game. So yeah, Oregon, Washington, Minnesota, we turned them. Also, I think there's a couple here, even in the Northeast, that we were able to turn a couple of people. No, yeah, like there's Baynard, Ruston. I thought, yeah, here we go, like New Hampshire, although New Hampshire, yeah, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, we got the duck boot belt here. Between these 3 states, we've got 4 senators. Yeah, remember that Nixon and Reagan both got California. Different time. And also it's an alternate time from that time. Yeah. Holmes can stonewall the West Serbian unifier if the AI fumbles the war too badly. Really? Like, is there an event if you take too long? Okay. So, now that we're done here, we have a new modifier. We're at a new dawn. It's morning again in America. Today, more men and women will go to work and start new enterprises than ever before in our country's history. Thousands of American children will come of age with bright futures ahead of them. Thousands of American men and women will be married today and will look forward to their new lives, confident that their country will offer them stability and prosperity. Thousands of veterans will retire today and spend their twilight years in a country far better off than when they return to it. It's morning again in America, and under the leadership of President Wallace, our country is prouder and stronger and better. And we work it harder, makes it better, do it faster, makes it stronger. And we now talk about the American dream without a hint of sarcasm. For the first time in decades, our country has something to believe in, and defeat is just a dying memory. Okay. So we got the research slots available. Who gives a damn, honestly? Just do that, I guess. There's a photo of Wallace doing the okay sign. Like Hayama, freaking from Love is War, the maid, the blonde. She's pretty much the best girl. Yeah. Wallace now, Wallace tomorrow, Wallace forever. Always. Okay, so, you know what? I'm actually debating ending it here. In fact, I think we will. We got through the entire education plan. So that's really, really good. We've had a solid, it's been about a year since the election. Not Chica, the other one. Chica's great, though. So, in the next episode, I think we're finally going to make the big step. We're going to kill the Civil Rights Act. And what we're going to probably do is say government will maintain segregation. And I think we might be able to do that because since we're making the states pay for their own stuff, maybe, you know, my voter base is not going to be, you know, is going to feel better about, you know, maybe the government should be in charge of some things. We actually don't like states' rights. No, I'm talking about how you... Let me pull her up. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Give me a second. We did the frickin' Riga campaign as her. Hold on a sec. Hayasaka. Let me show you what I'm talking... Here, I'm going to play the audio. You're going to know who I'm talking about. Hold on.
Hey!
People, surf.
All right. Okay, that was an edited version, but you get the point. You get the point. All right. So, yeah, the maid. She's great. Hayasaka. So we're gonna yeah, next stream, which let's say next Wallace stream is gonna be Sunday. We're gonna finally end the Civil Rights Act. And then, you know, I don't know what's this with the schools. Increase segregation status. Jim Crow. Yeah, because we can't do this until we repeal the Civil Rights Act. Now, allegedly, there's going to be serious repercussions for this, as I've been talking about several times. I think it's absolutely ridiculous if we're able to get impeached when we have this strong of a Senate behind us. And, you know, oh, but some of them will turn on him. No, screw that. If I've got 64 senators that are directly from my wing of the party, that's not even counting the 6 from the Center MPP who technically are in our broader party, that is ridiculous. So next time, yeah, let's start to push for the sec. We're gonna kill civil rights, and then I'm guessing right here, Jim Crow's crutch. is where we'll universalize segregation or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm going into a lot of this blind. This will help us win back the South. Oh, shoot. I forgot to do that before the election. So, yeah, we should be able to finish all this stuff before the second term ends. I'm not going to be doing any of these things. That's why. So, I'm Conquering History Games, and you all have yourselves a wonderful evening. This was fun. Take care. Spike your hair.